My name's Andrew. I quit my corporate job to build a business in a foreign country, and this is my life. Time for the boss to get his hands dirty here. Uniformity's not great, temperature's probably not great, the cooling pads. What do you guys need, you know? What the fuck do you need? A bird just shit on my foot, and I'm pumped about that. Perfection is not really the nature of a project like this. You give him a little belly rub, and then we flip him over. A lot of people saying, oh, you'll never get a project like this finished, you'll never even get it started in the Philippines. What now? We're back with another day one of the growth cycle here. Chicks were unloaded last night. I'm gonna see if we can kick things off strong with a good cycle, with better performance. We had some mistakes we made last time that we've are hopefully looking to correct and improve on what we've been doing. So hopefully we can kick things off, and I'll make note of what things we're changing as we go through the cycle. See you at the farm. Chicks have been here for about 12 hours. We're just doing a walkthrough to see how the chicks are behaving, what's going on with them, and we'll spot check some of them to see if they've been eating or drinking. So you just want to grab a few, and the majority of them should have a full pouch on them. So grab one, and you just feel in the front of it to see if it's full. And this guy seems pretty full. Oh, he's got a good pouch on him. So you can see, just in the front, just pick them up and grab, they have a little pocket right here. And at this stage, if the majority of them have no full pocket there, then you likely have an issue here. Like, there's plenty of time for them now to have eaten and drank, get a little more settled into their new environment here. So a quick spot check is a good way to tell. One thing we're looking to dial in this cycle a little bit better is maintaining the correct temperature in here. So that means good use of the heaters during the brooding stage, but not too much to where it's too hot. You can easily go overboard with these spot heaters here. So one thing I am gonna check, and you can already tell, this heater's on, and you can see like the chicks just avoid it. They don't wanna go near it. So it's my guess it's too hot under there. Lay this down underneath and we'll come back to it, and it's probably gonna be way hotter than it should be. We'll revisit that, but let's keep traveling along. They don't usually just crowd around the feeding trays at this stage because we spread feed all along the chick paper, so they can just kind of eat where they stand. You just can see them pecking their head down. Some of them go to the feeding trays, but a lot of them just walk around and eat because the feed's easily at their disposal, which is good. We're gonna grab the thing, and look, you see here, it's almost at 40 degrees underneath this brooding lamp, and hence why none of them are going underneath it. Like if I were to lay it like here, look, they're gonna go up to it, they're curious. See, they're all staring at it, they'll probably peck at it a few times. Like, what is this thing? See? But you put it under there, like it's so hot that they don't even wanna go underneath there. So what we'll do is we'll just, I think, keep one lamp on per brooding section here. We have 5 sections, so we'll just shut this off, boom, and then we'll come back in a couple hours to see if the dispersion of the chicks has changed. Anytime you make an environmental change, there's a bit of a lagging effect in terms of what that does to the behavior. So it's not like we turn this off and can look immediately and say, oh yeah, that worked. You need to be a little bit more patient. So we'll make this change. We'll just try to change one variable at a time to see what the impact is. If you end up changing, 10 things at once, we put a fan on, we put this down, we change the brooding lamps, then it's tough to isolate what variable was actually playing a big effect. So we want to do essentially one at a time here that we think is going to be the most impactful. And then if that's not enough or that goes overboard, then we can dial that back or make other changes one by one here so we can actually isolate the variables. Taking care of chicks, a lot of it is about consistency in the environment. Right? The environment evolves over time. You cool the temperature down over time, you increase ventilation, but depending on the stage you're in, you want it to be consistent for that stage. You don't want some areas to be 45 and others to be 30, because then that's gonna affect your uniformity and how they grow. We'll be back in a couple hours to check on them. It's been good here. I was reading a lot over the break here after we harvested. One behavioral observation was that if it's too hot, you can see the chicks panting, and we actually did see that, which led me to believe the temperature was too hot in here, and you could feel it. It was really hot, really high humidity, which would make it feel even hotter. So we'll be back in a few hours to see if this has had a material impact. We've given it a couple hours, just beefing up my spreadsheet. We're really trying to dial in our data this time so we can see what variables are playing a role in the chicks. It's been a couple hours. We're gonna head back in and see if changing the quantity of brooding lamps that are on will have an impact in how the chicks are dispersed. Okay, so we're doing a little walkthrough to assess the situation. It's cooled down quite a bit from what it was, but I think it might be a little bit too cool. So I think we're gonna put one more lamp on per section. This time around, I want to be a little more active on tinkering with things just to see what works, what doesn't, and look at the behavior of the chicks. Didn't do as much of that last time, was kind of just listening to the farm manager because it was the first one I've done, but a part of learning here is adjusting different variables and seeing how they impact and being more present to pay attention to the behavior of the birds. All books you read will talk about these are the metrics you want, these are kind of the hard numbers you want to see, but a lot of these things are tough to measure, like the temperature the bird is feeling. That's going to be dependent on, you know, the temperature of the air, the wind speed, the humidity, all those things, and it's tough to gauge like an actual calculation of what they may be feeling, so you need to pay attention to them. And when you're just starting out, you don't have a great intuition. Like I've worked with really experienced farm managers and they walk in and they just know. They take one step in the farm and it's like, oh, uniformity's not great, temperature's probably not great, the cooling pads, the tarp should be this and that, and like they've seen it for years and they just know. But that's an intuition we're trying to build up, and part of that is making some tweaks and adjustments and seeing how that impacts the behavior of the birds. And then over time, as we do more cycles, we'll build up breadth of knowledge that we can use. So Kui is putting an extra lamp on per section here, see if we can stabilize the temperature. It's also been raining, so it's getting cooler out than it was. So we're spreading out some of the brooding lamps a little bit better. So we have 3 kind of congested there. We're moving 1 over here. Again, trying to keep a uniform temperature. Doesn't have to be pretty, just needs to be functional. Our man Kui Rodwell knows exactly how to get that done.
Okay lang malaki.
Welcome to my office here. It's the end of day 1. We're just inside the farm, working with the farm manager and our flock man, working out what we want to do to maintain a better temperature in there. When I went in this morning, we had hot and hotter, essentially. We had the brooding heaters up way too high, and then as a consequence, the whole area is too warm. So they had the choice between hot and hotter rather than cooler and warmer. At this stage, and as we try to learn, you almost like set your hypothesis and then you test it. So right now, the hypothesis was they seemed too clumped away from the heaters and they seemingly weren't eating as much. Their pouches weren't as full as we would have liked. So the hypothesis was the temperature's too hot, and if we are to cool it down, they'll become more active and they'll eat more. Our method for testing this is we're lowering the tarp around the brooding area and we're kind of dialing back the heaters just a touch, and then we'll come back tomorrow and see how the chicks are behaving. So iterate, observe the chicks, iterate, then observe the chicks. Anyways, we're wrapping up. I've put my comments into my spreadsheet. We are dialing in everything that we can possibly keep track of. And then I'm also writing some observations. So these are things I can refer back on and we can see tweaks that we made, changes we made, and what the outcome was. So things that work, we keep. Things that don't work, we won't keep. And then we will follow progress throughout the cycle. But today is day 1. See you tomorrow at day 2. Here we are at the construction site, going to get an update. It's been a few weeks since we checked in. Let's go see what's done, starting with the entrance. There's some progress being made. You see the backhoe back here doing work, and then this will get laid down as the starting of a road. Let's go check it out. So as you can see, it's a lot more of an open space. It's a lot flatter than it was. All the grass has been dug out, and we're not going to pave it because it's just not necessary for this to be a good road, having smooth paving. You should see some of the farm roads I've driven on out here are pretty sketchy. So this one will actually be, all things considered, relatively good. And paving just is an expensive cost that's not absolutely necessary for the building to run. Maybe as we put more buildings here, we'll start to polish those luxuries. But right now we just want to get it up and functional. Farm straight ahead of us, you can see some trees have been cut down. In this area here, there's going to be a canal dug all through along the side here, because right now if it rains, this is going to get really wet and flood. So getting proper water drainage is going to be really important of having this be like an actual sustainable road. It's not just going to wash out every time it rains hard. which it does a lot in the Philippines. A lot of people saying, oh, you'll never get a project like this finished. You'll never even get it started in the Philippines. What now? Last time we were here, we actually took a step back. If you remember, the wall collapsed and we're thinking, fuck, things are headed in the wrong way. This time, that wall's been rebuilt. There's trusses up, putting up walls for the control room. So there's actually been a lot done. And it's nice to see some actual steps be made, like some visual steps that you can see more clearly. We have some baka on the side, some cows. So we'll make some friends along the way. At the other farm, there's like this big buffalo, like water buffalo, and that's where the cooling pads. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's like a petting zoo out here. There's horses, you can just go like touch these animals, which is pretty cool. Like I've never just touched a cow before or a buffalo, and then every time I see something like that, I need to go see if we can, you know, build a rapport and become friends here. So let's go see. I'm gonna go talk to these cows and see what's up. Hey. Oh. Hey, buddy. This is cool. Look at him. I wonder what he's thinking. It's like a big dog. Made some friends. Let's go check out the farm. This is what will be the control room. This is 2 stories. We just walked up essentially a hill here. We'll have a window here where you can see inside the farm and see the chickens without having to physically step in. We'll also have control panels in here where you can control the ventilation fans and the feeding lines. And then down below is where we'll have feed storage, equipment storage, etc. They actually, like what you'll see here in the Philippines, is everything is super, super manual. Projects like this, I mean, the only piece of technology here is that backhoe out front. Like they were just mixing concrete, and that is bucket, the concrete, and shovel, and you manually mix things here. So everything is done pretty old school, but it does get done. I've said this about 10 times now, where I walk up here for a video and I go, we're inside what will be the farm. This will be the inside of the farm, and this is probably the only time you actually notice a difference in what it looks like. I was hoping this day would come, and it has. So over here, the wall is starting to be rebuilt. The first floor of it is done. Last time we were here, I'll show a little before, it was essentially crumbled down, and we're using the backhoe to actually tear the rest of it down because it was raining, it was typhoon season, and it kind of soaked out from under itself. So this is what the wall looks like in its partially rebuilt form. There's fresh beams here, so it's stronger than it was before. They dug out all of the damaged material, and it's just essentially over there, but got a bunch of new hollow blocks, and that's going to be built up. I feel like generally it was probably a bit of a blessing in disguise to have that come this early in the process, rather than imagine we have all these trusses put up and then it collapses and then you're out a lot more materials and a lot more labor. So to have it happen early in the process, I think is a good opportunity to build up the integrity of this wall so we don't face this issue down the line. You set a budget, and that's basically an if things go perfect budget, but you need a bit of a buffer because perfection is not really the nature of a project like this. So there's bound to be a few things that require some extra capital, and that being one of them. So we had that buffer built in, but an additional $6,000 isn't obviously ideal. You can see the trusses on this half of the building have been put up. This half's gonna have to wait till that wall gets rebuilt, and then the wall of the control rooms is being built. So there's a few different things being played around with at the same time, which is good. The original quote we got from our equipment supplier was 7 ventilation fans in the back here. But after speaking with several other suppliers, getting different quotes, we kind of came to the conclusion that 7 wasn't going to be enough, especially in a place like the Philippines. It's so hot and humid, so ventilation is quite important. So we're going with an additional 3 fans now. So we'll have 10 fans. We'll get 8 regular fans. And then I think we're going to get 2 variable speed fans where you can adjust how strong the ventilation power is of those fans. Both sides of the farm are being dug out and flattened as well. So this is if you're looking from the control room or the entrance we came, this would be the left side, and then the right side would be the same. And we'll do some drainage work here and divert a lot of the water, because you can probably see it's a pretty big hill that's gonna, drain water down this way. So some drainage work will be done to divert the water away from the farm, and that'll prevent an issue like we had before where a lot of water was going into the farm, and that caused the wall to essentially fall out from underneath itself. And then the same thing will happen on the other side, and that's where we'll do loading of the chicks. Harvesting will be done there. So it's important that that's a flat, accessible surface for trucks and people to go in and out of. And that's the progress of the new farm. It's coming along. really quickly, which is exciting. And later tonight, we'll stop in at the other farm, see how the chicks are doing here. Let's go. Before we go, we're gonna see if we can pick up a rake that'll be a little bit better for flipping the rice hull when it gets wet, resurfacing it. The rake we have looks like it's from the medieval times here, so we're gonna see if we can get some tools for Kuya Rodwell to help out performance here. Let's go see what we can get. This goes a little lighter. Going between various options, seeing how cheap we really want to go here. We're not going to get it today. We're going to consult the farm manager and see what tools he thinks would be best for the job. This video is for him. We're going to show this to him. Kuya Rodwell, shovel, pitchfork, or rake? Anong gusto mo? We're on our way to the farm now. We're going to go check out the chicks, and then we'll consult with Kuya to see what tools we can get, as he would know best. So we want to make sure that our staff are at least employed with the right tools to get the job done. We'll go see, check it out. Hopefully the chicks are doing well. See you then. We're inside the farm, tightly monitoring the temperature here. We had the tarp up. It's pretty cold out. And one thing you really notice at this stage is the closer you are to the cooling pads, the cooler it is. So it can be a lot colder here for these chicks than it would be down there. So if you're not paying attention, things like that can create poor uniformity. So we're trying to level things out, adjust the brooding lamps, the number we have on, how strong they are, to make sure it's a good, stable environment in each pen. They're going after the crocs. Tomorrow we're gonna add in one more automatic feeding line. So it's gonna go back by probably 2-3 feet and give them a little bit more area. Okay, that's it for a quick little check-in. It's a bit of a puzzle trying to figure out what the chickens need, honestly. There's a million different variables you can tweak, and it's hard to pinpoint which ones are playing a negative impact potentially. The temperature, is it humidity? Do we need more ventilation? Is it too hot? Is it too cold? It's like, what do you guys need, you know? You just want to be able to speak to them and hold it up and say, what the fuck do you need? And unfortunately you can't do that, so you gotta watch the behavior as a society out there and see how they're doing. But regardless, these tweaks help us learn. Even if they don't go well, you know what not to do at the very least. So we'll see. Stay tuned. We're on the way to meet the engineer and drop off some cash for our progress payment for the construction. So we just left the branch bank. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love branch banking and I love waiting for 2 hours to withdraw cash. It's my favorite thing in the world. And we'll get some supplies for the farm and then head to the farm and see our man Kuya Rodwell, how things have been going, how the chicks are doing. We've expanded the area, so there's some updates we'll get. Stay tuned. Follow along. Well, Wilcon finished up our meeting with the engineer, paid him the progress. So while it's feeling a little lighter, now we're gonna head into the hardware store, grab some materials. Rake, zip ties, need a new handle for the door, so let's go see what we can get. I think we probably just need small ones. Okay. Okay, 2 different size zip ties. Now we're gonna get some handles, screws, and whatnot. This one, it's really light. Okay, Slaminate, thank you. We got our handles, zip ties. Now we're getting a rake. Kuya said Magunda rake here, so. Okay, get that one. Tarana. Some cosmetic repairs, well, functional repair too, the handles. Zip ties, you've heard me speak about it before. Chicks can slip in and out of the fence if there's any open spots, so use some zip ties to cover that up. Because if you use string and stuff, it can come undone, and then the chicks peck at it and they can choke on it actually. We've had one where it was wrapped around its neck and it actually killed itself, which was sad. And then the rake for the rice hull. We had a rake like this, but it's broken and it was like 100 years old. Some moderate improvements here.
137.25.
Thank you.
What's this? Slaminate, thank you. Aye. Okay, we got the goods. Let's go check out the CCU. We're at the farm now. We're going to do a check up on the feeds, see how many we have. Because I think we put it on a whiteboard, but I think the counts have been put up there wrong. So we're going to do a little sanity check, count how many feeds we have left, and then that'll tell us exactly how many we've used. So 7, 48, 58, 68. We just tallied up on the board 47 feeds used. I counted in the room 52 bags gone. So on the other side of this tarp, we should see 5 bags of feed. And if not, we have feed missing. So come with me. We'll react to this in real time. And if we don't have 5 bags of feed sitting over here, then we're gonna have to go check in with Kuya Rodwell and see what's going on. He's a mathematician. He's not a mathematician. So we'll see. So we've expanded the area, but quick check. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bags of feed. 1 at each section here. These will probably get used today, and then we'll add that, and that'll be 52 bags of feed. So Kuya's on check. Here's the manok, or sisiu. It's expanded area, which looks good. So they're down a bit. Fresher rice hull here. Got the ventilation fan running at a consistent setting to kind of get some fresh air lurking through. Hey, chill out, bruh. Okay, so this is what they look like here. So we're 2 days away from the weigh-in. So we'll see how they've grown compared to last cycle, but they're certainly bigger than when they arrive. This guy's got some pretty big feet on him. And he's also busog, so it's good to see. Chicks seem to be active. We've gotten the temperature a little more dialed in. We were, in all honesty, we were a little bit all over the place. I think it got too hot, and then we probably overcorrected for a few hours in one day and then dial it back, so that's our bad. But today they seem more active and the temperature feels like it's good. It doesn't feel overly humid. Get the ventilation fan on continuously throughout the day. In the expanded area, we've moved it over to include 1 more feeding line and 1 more drinking line. So now we have 2 automatic feeding lines and 3 drinking lines in here. And we still have, obviously, automatic feeding trays all across the floor. We have a dead manok over here, and it's important we get here in a timely manner because we're gonna resuscitate this one. Watch this, getting close. Come on, stay with me. Stay with me, buddy. Oh, I think I'm feeling a pulse. Oh my gosh, it worked. He's back. And that's how you revive a dead chicken. That's how we keep mortality so low. Everyone that dies, quick to resuscitate, and we put them back in the main population to heal. We had a lot of bansut, aka undersized chickens last round, and it was tough to gauge what our final harvest was gonna be because we didn't have a count of what was in the nursery. This time around, we're gonna try to keep track of how many we put in the nursery, and then that way we can gauge how many we think may be left behind when they do the final harvest. So this is the first day the nursery's here, so there's not that many in. We're gonna do a quick count, and then on a daily basis, we'll add more. I count 39, and a bird just shit on my foot, and I'm pumped about that. Everybody, wear boots. You can't wear Crocs, you might get shit on your foot. I know. Guys, I know. From first-hand experience, there's shit on my foot right now, but that's all right. Oy, Jesus. Little feed spill here that Rodwell's handling. So we want to get that in the tray. Otherwise, that's a good chunk of a bag of feed impacting our FCR here. Okay, we have 2 additional manual feeding trays that we're going to, some rice hull in there, that we're going to go put in the nursery. While we went to grab these, something came to mind that I'll show you here. Because we're ordering equipment for the new farm, and there's a million different options you can get for pretty much everything. Feeding trays, feeding lines, water lines, you name it, there's 100 different options, and you want to make sure you're getting what's most suitable for what you need. And you see here, it's a good learning experience being at this farm, because you see this tray, when it's raised off the ground, chickens will come eat at it, and it'll start swinging like this. There's nothing really to stop it from swaying back and forth. That's because it has no ridge on this feeding pipe to stop it from moving. So I'll put a picture up of a different type where what it should look like is this whole pipe should have a little metal ridge that goes across the entire top and notches through this pan. So when you lift it up, it's secure and it doesn't move back and forth. Because ideally over time, as the chickens get bigger, you want to raise the feeding line as well. But if it's just going to swing like that when they eat it, you're going to get feed dump everywhere, and then chickens are only going to be able to eat on one side. They'll come here, and the ones in that side won't be able to get at it. And that's what we experienced last cycle. So we just specified with the equipment manufacturer for the new farm that we want the feeding lines, which will be a little bit more expensive, but we want the lines that have the ridge in it, so it's not a problem that we have to deal with. Sometimes when you don't know if they should be in the nursery or not, you could just simply ask them and they'll tell you. Should you be in the nursery? Are you eating okay? Okay, all right. We're not gonna put them in, okay? Come on. As you can see, We take a very holistic approach here at this farm. Let's go get some feed for these bansut. We have really, really good tools for filling up pans like this. One looks like that, and the other looks like that. Come on. Little spill, but let's head over to the nursery here. I want to step carefully so we don't disturb the Minook. So you can see there's a big empty space here in the middle. We don't want the chicks walking too far before they get access to feed. If this was a feeding line, it'd be fine, but it's just a water line, so we need to put some additional feeding trays. This time around, we're going to be diligent in putting in the undersized chickens in the nursery from all sections here, even if it feels like it's an unnecessary amount of time. You grab one and you put it in. Is it even worth it? I think it is. So those are things that we're going to be attentive to this cycle. We're washing up. We're going to head home. That's it for day 5. See you when we see you. It's weigh-in day. We're here at the farm. It's the middle of the day. It's 12:30. We're going to weigh in later, but the dock's coming from the integrator. We're going to check out the birds, and then we'll be back to weigh the birds, see if we've improved. Our week 7 weigh-in last cycle actually wasn't bad, but something happened to the birds. We'll see. We'll see what the sitch is. We only want our Minook dying from old age, not from viruses. Here we are, we're inside the farm. Before Doc comes, we're gonna do a little round, put some in the nursery. We've been adding consistently every day. And then coming up, either today or maybe tomorrow, we'll do what's called a culling, which is a bit of a mass massacre, if you will, of chicks that have health issues. Like some you'll see, like they eat, but they just don't grow. They don't convert the feed at all. And those are ones, if you just keep them around, they just eat into your feed conversion ratio and it just hurts your performance. So those are ones that we end up getting rid of. Before we go pick them up, it's probably gonna stress them out a bit. So I just throw a little feed here in the bottom so they can occupy themselves eating rather than stressing out. So sometimes they get on their back and they can't flip over. Move. So you give them a little belly rub, and then we flip them over, and that is a split leg chicken if I've ever seen one. So you can see ones like this, see how he's walking. It's like, it's tough to notice these ones when they're really light, because they can typically walk normally, but as they gain weight, their legs start to be less and less capable of lifting them. So he can still walk a little bit, but as he gets bigger, he's gonna be not shuffling around well, but he's actually grown pretty well. So that's a nursery candidate. This one's pretty small. We got the bansut. Come on, welcome to your new home. Let's continue on. Come with me, boy. We're just finishing up the last pen. See, sometimes the weak ones too, you grab them and like, they're not really scrambling or trying to get away. They're just kind of accept the fate. Spreading back. The goal isn't to get them all, it's just to get what you see as you walk by. Be free. Oh. Now we're ready for weigh-in tonight after the doc comes. We're back. It's the evening now. It's weigh-in time. Got the scale, got our fresh basket. Let's see what we got. So we're about to start weigh-in. We were just talking about how many samples we want to do. We're going to do 200 plus the nursery. So that'd be 4 samples of 10 birds per section here. And then we'll do a sample or 2 from the nursery. $2.16. The uniformities, you know. Doing the nursery now, we'll just do probably just 2 samples from here. Okay. 2 sections, Deloa sections to go. I'm gonna get my hands dirty here in the last 2. A spotted busog. I'm gonna weigh this guy individually just for fun here. Let's see, this guy feels heavy. 270. That's certainly not the average of them all. Time for the boss to get his hands dirty here. This is how it's done. Basket on the scale, then you zero out the scale with the basket on. You need to zero it out so the weight doesn't account for the weight of the basket. You just want it to account for the weight of the chickens, obviously. Ooh. 190 grams. Dump them out. These are the last two, so we got one more here. Okay. About 200 grams. Okay. Now we'll head calculate the average weight. 200 birds, 20 from the nursery, well-rounded samples taken from different areas within the population. And that is it for week 1. Subscribe to see more on this journey as we raise these chicks and harvest them at the end of 30 days.